One of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, how do you deal with toxic people? And in this video, I want to give you the smartest way to deal with them. Before we begin, welcome to Stoic Phronesis. Here, you'll discover the power of Stoic philosophy to cultivate resilience, clarity, and purpose in your daily life. Now let's get into the meat of this video. The smartest way to deal with toxic people without saying a word. You may think that dealing with toxic people is tricky, and it really can be. But what if there was a way that we could handle them that didn't involve getting upset, didn't involve arguing or making a fuss, but rather just completely removed their power over us? That would be incredible, wouldn't it? Well, there is a way, and it comes to us from the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. But before we talk about how to deal with them, let's first define our terms. What exactly makes a person toxic? I have a simple definition for a toxic person. Someone who always seems to bring out your worst qualities. Someone who brings drama into your life and into your close circle. Someone who's always blaming you or others around them for their mistakes or their wrongdoings. Someone who will bring negativity into a situation, and someone who will say things that are meant to hurt you emotionally or psychologically. These are all signs of a toxic person. So now that we know who they are, let's move on to the part that you've been waiting for. The smartest way to deal with toxic people without saying a word. As far as I'm concerned, there are two main ways to deal with them. One is to change the way that you view them, and the other is to change the way that you react to them. Let's start with Epicurus. He had a great quote on dealing with people. He said, "Do not expect the people who are too weak to appreciate what is good to be of any use to you." If we look at this quote closely, we can see that he's basically telling us that toxic people are actually quite weak. They are weak because they are unable to see what is good, meaning that they are unable to see the bigger picture, people whose only focus is on themselves and their own petty concerns. When we see people like this, we have to understand that they are not worth our energy. They're not worth us losing sleep over, them stressing over. Instead, we should learn to put them in their own category of people, almost like a separate group who we don't engage with. A great example of this is the biblical story of David and Goliath. In the story, David has to fight Goliath, a giant who is taunting him and his people, the Israelites. We can imagine that each time Goliath taunted the Israelites, it must have brought fear and doubt into their hearts. But David saw through Goliath's tactics and didn't give in to it. Instead, he focuses on what needed to be done and did it. He took down a giant who was bringing nothing but bad vibes. Sometimes we need to do the same in our lives. We need to find the courage to cut off toxic people, even if they are family or friends. By cutting them off, I don't necessarily mean completely ending the relationship. You may have to if it's severe enough, but it can also mean just setting healthy boundaries and limits. Maybe it means not picking up the phone whenever they call or text, or maybe it means telling them firmly and nicely that their behavior isn't acceptable. Another great example of this can be found in the lives of the Buddha and Jesus Christ. Both of them spent lots of time with people who were considered sinners. However, both of them knew when to cut their losses and distance themselves from those who refused to turn away from their toxic ways. The next way to deal with toxic people is to not take them personally. Marcus Aurelius says, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." Toxic people can make us feel awful about ourselves. They can attack our character and question our intelligence. But what if we viewed them not as an attack on us, but instead as an attack on their own weakness? For example, someone who is jealous of your accomplishments may try to belittle your success. But if we see that they are attacking us out of their own jealousy and insecurity, it loses its power to hurt us. It doesn't change the fact that they're being toxic, but it does mean that we shouldn't let their actions affect us so much. Here is another quote from Marcus Aurelius. He who is not contented with what he has and stops at nothing is not satisfied with himself. When we meet toxic people, they usually have some sort of agenda. They might want to drag you down to their level, or they might want to convince you to do something that you know isn't right. Here is where our contentment comes into play. If we are happy with who we are and what we have, we are less likely to listen to people who are trying to convince us otherwise. Here is another quote from Marcus Aurelius. When you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Every day that we are alive is a good day. Some people need to be reminded of this more than others, especially toxic people. It is easy to forget how precious life is when you focus too much on your problems and your worries. But it is important to remember that every day is a gift. When you wake up, you should be thankful for the opportunity to live another day. And this gratitude will help you deal with toxic people because you won't waste your time worrying about them or letting them get to you. Epictetus also has a helpful idea for dealing with toxic people. He says that you should only give advice to people who ask for it. This one is simple. Most people know what they're doing wrong, but they don't want to hear about it. When you point out someone's wrongdoing, you are essentially criticizing them. And most people don't like being criticized, especially toxic people. They will often become defensive and dismissive of your concerns. This is why it is better to only give advice to people who ask for it. That way, you are not coming from a place of judgment. You are coming from a place of wanting to help. Of course, there are times when giving advice is appropriate. For example, if you are a parent, you have a responsibility to guide your children in the right path. But even then, you should be careful not to be overly critical. Try to frame your advice as a suggestion rather than a command. Why don't you try this? Is much better than you have to do this. Finally, I want to leave you with a story from the life of the Buddha that illustrates how to deal with toxic people. One day, the Buddha was sitting under a tree when a man came up to him and started shouting and insulting him. The Buddha sat quietly and calmly until the man was finished. Then he said, "You may keep on shouting and insulting me, but I will not get angry or upset. Why? Because I am not attached to my own peace of mind." The man was taken aback by the Buddha's response, and he stopped shouting. He then asked, "Why are you so calm and peaceful?" The Buddha replied, "I am not attached to my own peace of mind, which means that I don't think that I deserve to be happy or that I am entitled to happiness. Instead, I choose to be happy because it is the right thing to do. I choose to be happy because it is the best thing for everyone involved, not because I think that I deserve it." Not being attached to our own happiness is hard, but it is possible, and it is one of the most powerful ways to deal with toxic people. When you are not attached to your own happiness, you stop seeking validation from others, and this is a very powerful thing. It allows you to be truly free in your interactions with other people, because you are no longer looking for anything from them. You are simply being yourself. I hope that helps. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe and leave a like. Thank you so much for watching.